My name is Daniel, and I'm 42 years old. What I'm about to share with you is not easy, because the moment the words leave my mouth, I know some will scoff, others will dismiss me as crazy, and a few might even get angry. But I'm not here to win arguments or to impress anyone. I'm here because my life was split in two: the man I was before that day, and the man I became after. And it all began with a whisper. 3 months before everything happened, I was washing dishes after dinner. My wife, Rachel, was in the living room watching the evening news. Everything was ordinary. The warm water running over my hands, the faint clatter of forks in the sink, the hum of the television in the background. That's when it came. Soft, gentle, yet so clear it sent shivers up my spine. Daniel, just my name. Nothing more. I turned, expecting Rachel, but she was still on the couch, lost in the news. The sound of the TV was too loud for her to have called me. Confused, I dried my hands and asked her if she had said anything. She looked at me strangely. No, why? I brushed it off. Maybe stress, maybe fatigue. But the next day, the whisper came again. And the day after that. Always when I was alone. Always calling me by name. I tried to rationalize it away. Too much pressure at work, bills piling up, kids needing new shoes, my father's declining health. Life was heavy, and I thought maybe my mind was cracking under the weight. If only I had stopped. If only I had said, "Yes, Lord, I'm listening." But I didn't. Then came October. It started like any other month. I made coffee, kissed Rachel goodbye, and drove to work with the radio humming in the background. Meetings blurred into emails, phone calls, and office chatter. Everything felt routine, until it wasn't. Around 11:30 that morning, I went to the break room for another cup of coffee. As I poured, a crushing weight slammed into my chest. It felt like an invisible fist was squeezing the very life out of me. I dropped the mug. It shattered into 1,000 pieces on the floor. My left arm went numb. The room spun violently. I tried to call out for help, but no words came. And then, darkness. The doctors would later tell me I had a massive heart attack. My heart stopped for 7 minutes. 7 minutes without oxygen. 7 minutes of my co-workers fighting to bring me back with CPR. 7 minutes that should have left me brain dead, gone forever. But in those 7 minutes, I was more alive than I had ever been. The first thing I noticed was peace. Not silence, peace. The kind that sinks into your bones and heals every hidden wound. Imagine the quietest, safest moment of your life, then magnify it 1,000 times. That was the air I was breathing. I looked down and saw my body on the floor, my friend Matthew pounding on my chest, tears streaming down his face. I wanted to reach out and tell him it was okay, but my voice no longer belonged to that room. Then came the light. It wasn't blinding, wasn't harsh. It was alive, warm, welcoming, like the embrace of a father I hadn't seen in decades. I wasn't pulled by force, I was drawn by love. I wanted to go. Every part of me ached to go. As I moved closer, I entered what looked like a tunnel, but no earthly tunnel could compare. Its walls pulsed with living colors I'd never seen before. Music surrounded me. Not notes, not instruments, but the sound of joy itself, turned into song. Time dissolved. Past, present, and future collided. I saw glimpses of my childhood, my wedding day, and things that hadn't even happened yet. And in that place, I understood things that had baffled me my whole life. Why prayers seemed unanswered, why pain existed, why good people suffered. It all made sense in the light. Finally, I stepped into a place more real than anything I'd ever known. Earth felt like a faded shadow, compared to the vibrancy of this world. The air itself shimmered with song. The colors were alive, and the ground beneath my feet glowed like golden glass. Then I saw him, a man who seemed both ancient and ageless. His skin glowed like bronze kissed by the sun. His hair was white as snow, yet he looked young, alive with strength. But his eyes, oh, his eyes, were flames of fire, steady and gentle, like a fire that doesn't burn but warms. And when he spoke, I knew the truth before he even said it. "Daniel!" he called, the same voice I had been hearing for months. I fell to my knees, not by choice, but because my soul recognized him instantly. My lips trembled as I whispered the only word my spirit could form: Jesus. He smiled, and I swear that smile could have lit up the entire universe. "Yes, my son," he said softly. "We need to talk." I don't know how long I knelt there. Time didn't flow the way it does here. Every second felt eternal, and yet gone in a blink. Jesus reached out and lifted me to my feet. His touch was warm, like sunlight breaking through cold skin. "Daniel," he said again, "there is something you need to see." He gestured, and suddenly the scene shifted. We stood before a great hall, vast and luminous. Rivers of light flowed through its walls, and an indescribable fragrance filled the air, like flowers, rain, and new beginnings all at once. But the sound was what stunned me. Millions of voices singing in harmony, a song of worship so beautiful it ached. I turned to Jesus, tears streaming down my face. "Am I dead?" I asked. He looked at me with compassion. "You are between," he said, "but I brought you here because you were not listening before. Now you must see with your own eyes." He led me inside. In the center of the hall was what I can only call the Hall of Tears. Transparent bowls lined a crystal altar, each one shimmering with light. Inside each bowl were drops of liquid, some bright like diamonds, others dull like gray rain. "These," Jesus said, "are the tears of my people. Not one falls without my knowing. Not one prayer is forgotten." I looked closer and realized I could hear voices echoing from each bowl. Pleas, sobs, whispered prayers. I heard my own voice among them, the night I begged God to heal my father. The memory cut deep. My father had died anyway. "Why?" I asked, my voice breaking. "Why didn't you answer?" Jesus touched the bowl, and it lit up brighter than the sun. "I did," he said softly. "Not in the way you hoped, but in the way that would lead to eternal life. My answers are not bound to October or March or time at all. They are bound to eternity." His words pierced me. Every unanswered prayer suddenly made sense, not in an intellectual way, but in a way my soul simply knew. Then he turned, and we walked to the edge of a great balcony, overlooking what looked like the earth, but not as it is now. Storms raged across continents, cities flickered like dying candles, and shadows moved across nations. It was as though I were seeing time racing forward. "Few are ready," Jesus said. His voice carried both grief and power. "Many say they know me, but their hearts are far away. My coming is near, Daniel. The trumpets are being prepared." At that moment, I heard them. The faint sound of trumpets, distant but real. Not the blare of human brass, but a sound so pure it shook the foundations of my being. It was like heaven itself calling creation to attention. "Lord," I whispered, trembling, "why are you showing me this?" He looked at me with fire in his eyes. "Because I am sending you back." The words hit me like a blow. "Back?" "But I don't want to go back. I want to stay here with you." He placed his hands on my shoulders. "Daniel, your work is not finished. Your children, your wife, your friends, they need to hear what you have seen. Many are asleep. You must tell them to wake up. October will be a season of warning for many, but also of mercy. Go back and speak. I fell to my knees again, sobbing. I'm not worthy, I said. I'm not a preacher. I'm not even a good man. He smiled, a smile full of infinite patience. It is not about being worthy, he said. It is about being willing. Then he did something I will never forget. He reached out and touched my forehead with his thumb, and light poured into me, warm, golden, overwhelming. It filled every crack of my soul, every place I had hidden shame or fear. Do not be afraid, he whispered. I am with you. The next moment, I felt myself falling, like being pulled backward through water. The light faded, the music dimmed, and 1,000 voices called out, but I couldn't hold on. Then, pain. I gasped and opened my eyes to a ceiling of white tiles and fluorescent lights. My chest burned, my ribs ached. People were shouting. Someone was crying. I realized it was me. A nurse leaned over me. He's back, she yelled. We've got him. I was back. Back in my broken body. Back in the world of time and deadlines and bills. But everything was different. The weight of eternity still burned inside me. When Rachel came into the hospital room later, I held her hand and cried like a child. She didn't know what had happened, but she could feel it. That was months ago. I've been telling my story ever since, not because I want attention, but because I have to, because I was told to. October is here again now. I feel it, the urgency, the mercy, the invitation. If you're reading this, know that Jesus is real. Heaven is real. His eyes are on you. His hands are open. I am Daniel. I died. I met Jesus. And I came back, not for me, but for you.